Okay, I think I'm good. I was having some issues. Sorry. Hi, everybody. Hi, can you see me? Hopefully. Hello. There we go. Yay. Okay, sorry. I was having some serious Facebook Live issues trying to get on. It wouldn't let me on for a minute there. Hi. Hey, hey, hey. Hi, everybody. Okay, so we're going to give it a second and let everybody kind of join before I get started. If you have unit members that are waiting to get in, I know that corporate's trying to approve them, but they can't until they answer the questions. So they need to answer the questions. Because they made me a moderator for right now, and then yeah, I was going to go accept some people, and I'm like, they didn't answer any questions. I can't. So I did not. Hello, hello. Dogs just got let in. Okay. Hi. All right. So I was asked to come on to Facebook Live and talk to you about how I build a customer base, or how I have built my customer base. So just a little background. If you don't know who I am, that's okay. So my name is Carol Thompson. I am a senior sales director here in Okotoks, Alberta. I have two kids. They are teenagers now. They were 3 and 5 when I started. I started in March 2010, and I became a sales director May 1st, 2011. Sometimes those dates get mixed up in my head. And then earned my first car, and now am a Cadillac driver and top trip director. Okay. So that is me. I do have a really big customer base, you guys. I really do sell a lot, and I have a really great customer base. Like, I really feel like they are friends. And in fact, a lot of my best friends came straight out of my customer base. They weren't my people before, but they are now. So yeah, so I really do love to build a customer base. And this is something that's hugely important to me, because I feel like sometimes we get caught in a trap of thinking, okay, yes, I need to build my unit, or I need to build my team, or I need to become a sales director. And we think, okay, I don't know about you, but my misconception becoming a sales director was like, but I really like to sell, and I don't want to not sell. And I remember my national going, you're supposed to sell. It's okay to sell, right? And I'm like, oh, I didn't know that. I had no idea I was supposed to keep selling as a sales director. And that was like something I had no idea about. And so I really think that it's important that you understand that what you're going to get from having, sorry, I'm going to adjust my light. I look very pale all of a sudden here. I have one of those ring lighty things, and it's very paley. Oh, there we go. That's better. A little warmer. So what's happening with your units, or what's happening with your sales, or what's happening with your potential team is that you have to build a customer base first. Now, you can do this coordinated with building your unit and building your team. They are not mutually exclusive. And I think you'll be a little bit shocked to find out how I have built my base so far. So I am not somebody who does a lot of booking calls. I am not somebody who does a lot of facial boxes or lead boxes or trade shows. I don't think I've done a trade show in a few years. I really have built my base very organically, and it started from there. Definitely, I didn't have any customers. And so, you'll find that, and if you're brand new tuning in, that's cool, because you'll find that there's two kinds of people who join Mary Kay. There's the kinds that have a big customer base, and they have lots of friends and family who already buy from you. Maybe they were hostesses before they signed up, whatever, okay? And then you're like super successful right off the bat. You have lots of sales, you have lots of recruits right off the bat, and then all of a sudden it's like, correct? And then you have the other people, and the other people that join your team are like, sad immediately, because they have nobody to sell to, and they don't have any friends and family to sell to, and they're just kind of floundering, and they can be like, right? So what happened to me was that I was that person. I was the second person. I didn't have anybody to sell to. I didn't really know what I was supposed to do to get new customers. I didn't have a base. Okay. And so what happened with me is that I had to get out there and start building my customer base immediately. I did do facial boxes. I did facial jars, actually, because I couldn't afford facial boxes. That's, if you don't know my story, that is how poor I am. I was, not am, how poor I was then, is I just took mason jars and made facial jars from there, and then put them everywhere. I remember getting my husband to drive me to like mini malls and not letting me back in the car until I did it. And definitely that was a big help. And I did some trade shows and things like that. But I'm going to assume that you have a small customer base, okay? And so what I want to think about here is like, if you have a small customer base already, then you have to understand that people don't buy what you sell, and they don't buy how you sell it. They buy why you sell it. There's a really good TED Talk by Simon Sinek called something like Leadership or Inspiring Leaders. And it talks a lot about things like Apple or Tesla or whatever, and why these companies stand out against others. The reason why my customers have kept buying from me or have recommended me all of this time comes back to this point. Because when I first started and when I had those beginning facials, it was not about the products I was selling. It wasn't. It was about who I was selling, and that was them in the mirror, selling that opportunity for them to take 5 minutes for themselves. And I was also selling that I was on a mission to do something big and innovative and different, and something that was going to change all of my stars and all of my fate and everything else. And I remember that my first beginning new customers still will tell you that I told them I was earning a car in Mary Kay when I had like 10 customers. I knew when I got started and decided to do my first 100 faces that I was going somewhere with it. They don't buy what you do, and they don't buy how you do it. They buy why you do it. In my first mission, you guys, my first mission is so ridiculous, but I was a scrapbooker, and I just got everybody involved in that I needed to see 100 faces. And when I did, I would buy a Canon Rebel camera. That was it. I really wanted a good camera, and I said, when I see my first 100 faces, that's what I'll do. And so I told everybody that. I told people I met in, at a party or anything, that I was seeing 100 faces to earn a Canon Rebel camera. They didn't need to know I was on buying it. Okay, I knew I could take the credit cards from Mary Kay and use those from the STAR program or whatever, but they didn't need to know that. All that they needed to know was that there was something that they were helping me do. And they can shop anywhere. Like, they can go anywhere. You can buy makeup on Amazon. You can buy makeup in Sephora. You can go to any place, anywhere, and get makeup and skincare, correct? So why do they buy from you? Why? It isn't just because you provide great customer service. Because you know what? To be truly honest, sometimes I don't. Okay, sometimes I'm like, I forget an order, or I'm like, oh, you need a CC cream and I don't have any on my shelf. Sorry, you're gonna have to wait. So if you've got it in your head that Carol Thompson has been first runner-up in quarter sales, I don't know, corporate would know, twice, 3 times, I'm not sure. Anyway, like, I sell a lot. If you've got it in your head that it's because I have a lot of inventory, you're mistaken. That's my inventory behind me. Now, it's a little sad right now. I'm waiting for my boxes to come from month end. But that's my inventory, you guys. It's not a lot. It's not because I have a ton of inventory or I have a ton of money or because I knew a ton of people. It's not any of that stuff. It's because I built authentic relationships with people who knew why the heck I was selling to them and why the heck they should buy from me. I built relationships with people who knew at the beginning, and when I was a consultant, that all they were helping me do was to earn a camera. And I used to say, okay, so write your name down on my list. It was not a fancy list. It was not take 10 years to create your pretty, pretty little spreadsheet or your whatever. It was not like that. Okay, I don't know what's happening with my lights, but it's really freaking me out. It's like, does it do that for you guys too? It's like cool light, warm light. I don't know what's going on. It's like cycling through. Okay, anyway, I just bought this thing. See, look, it's so cute. But, oh, maybe it can't come out, but it's like a little ring light to hang on my pegboard in my office. And it's, yeah, I'm not sure about it. But they knew that that's what they were doing. So they would write their name on a piece of loose leaf, like super fancy. Okay, I'm sorry. I actually have a little scar right here. I had a bit of an accident yesterday. So if you're like, what is on her face? Yeah. Yeah, fun. Glasses equal pushed and then ouch. And now I have scar. What a perfect opportunity to demo how the vitamin E oil helps your scars heal. Right? Okay, so people don't buy what you do, they buy why you do it. So they knew why I was doing it. And so everybody who filled in that little sheet, I just said, okay, so cool. So I'm on a mission to see 100 people, and I want to see 100 people with skin. So who else do you know who has skin? And I would just wait like that. And they're like, everybody, because if you didn't, you have some creepy friends. Right? And then I would just say, you know, it would really help me a lot if you hooked me up with those people. That was it. I didn't offer some big incentive. I didn't do some big like, oh, I'm going to give this much to everybody who helps me, anything like that. I just asked because I knew that I was on a mission to do stuff. And they knew that I wasn't going anywhere. And that's the other thing. Do you know how many women have said to me over the years that they've chosen me because they knew that I was doing this as a career and I wasn't going to leave them? How many of you guys have had more than one beauty consultant over the years before you signed up? I went through 7. None of them tried to recruit me, not once. 7 different beauty consultants, okay? So you can understand that I was a little bit leery about purchasing from Mary Kay again, because it was like every time I got used to a Mary Kay beauty consultant and they got used to me and they knew I didn't like rose lipstick or whatever, frosted rose lipstick that everybody tried to sell me back then, okay? They knew I didn't like that, and as soon as I got used to people, then they would go ahead and leave on me. And then, so people don't want to be part of that. Do you agree? They want to know you're in this. They want to know you're here for like life, correct? Right? So what it was so important to me to say was that I was doing this forever. I was all in. The second I went to seminar and I discovered what people could do, and I saw, whoa, hang on. I don't know what just happened. There we go. Sorry, I accidentally minimized my screen trying to see your comments. So the second I went to seminar and I saw everybody successful on stage, and you guys, like I went, oh my gosh, I joined in March, and I went to seminar in July and didn't know anything, right? I only went because my consultant who signed me up became a sales director and I wanted to celebrate her. And I flew with Air Miles and I stayed in their room and I stayed with her and her husband. It was not the greatest, but I did it. And I came home knowing that it was time. That it was time for me to just run. And so I didn't know how I could do this. I didn't know what I could do. I just knew that I could control the number of faces I saw. Anybody else ever feel like that? Like, I have no idea how to become a sales director. I have no idea how to become a national, you guys. No idea. I'm sure like there's 1,000 ideas, right? But I only know that I can control the number of faces I see. And that was something huge for me because it just felt like I had something that I could do. Like I didn't feel impotent. I didn't feel like I couldn't control anything. I just knew that I could control the number of faces I saw. So I knew if I saw 100 faces that my business could change. So I was like, okay, cool. Then I'm gonna go see 100 faces and see what happens. I gave away $100 in free product for seeing 100 faces, and I did a draw, but mostly it was like, okay guys, I'm at 96 faces. Who else do you know has skin? Or I'm at 4 faces. I got 96 to go. Who else do you know who has skin? And I told everybody that 100 faces was gonna equal my camera. And then when I got my camera, everybody got to see my camera, and I took it to all my appointments, and I took pictures of people at the next appointments, because you betcha by golly wow, I booked their follow-up. So you want to know how I built a customer base? I did what I was freaking told to do. What? Full circle. Okay, I am lazy. I'm like fundamentally lazy, honestly. And I say that proudly because I really feel like lazy people get stuff done. And I knew that I didn't want to go out and do facial boxes again. And I didn't want to stand at a dead trade show for 12,000 years waiting and making small talk with other vendors. I mean, seriously, I hate it. Like, full stop, hate it. Anybody else? No? Small talk and I are not really friends, okay? Not friends. You want to ask me good questions? Cool. But I'm not answering. Well, you have to answer. But I mean, I don't like to do small talk talking. All right. So I didn't want to do that. And so then I was like, all right, so how do I get my business started if I don't want to do trade shows and things like that? I just worked full circle. So when I met, let's say, for example, my friend Jennifer Kirkley, I met her at a Mommylicious trade show, which cost me a fortune. And I had 3 names that responded to my draw. Anybody else been there? Yeah. And she was selling, oh God, some sort of Stampin' Up! Or something, scrapbooking thing. And she was like, okay, if you do a party for me, I'll do a party for you. Okay, fair. So I said, sure. And I had a big party for her and nobody came to her house. And I brought like my whole inventory. You know, when you do this, like you're brand new, I came in looking like the bag lady. I had everything. Her daughters and I hung out. We talked. I got to know her. It was supposed to be a party. She had snacks. She had people planned. I coached them. Nobody showed up. But I booked her again. And at the next one, 2 more people showed up. And then there was a makeover contest and I was doing my next 100 faces. So she got more faces for me. And at one point, we looked and we took those, you know, those paper things that come inside my boxes. So this would have been, I think this was in like 2013. So I was a Ford Edge driver at that point. And we took those papers and we uncrumpled them and spread them out on the wall. And we traced how many consultants and how many customers were on my team, indirectly or directly, or in my customer base because of Jennifer Kirkley. And it was over 70 people because of one person and one relationship. Okay, so what I did is that I created relationships with people. I friended them on social media, and I still do this, okay? So when I meet somebody at a party, so the hostess and I are friends, right? Because now she's been my customer and now she's my friend. So hostess and I are friends. We meet at a party. I sit down with a girl at the end, you know, in the separate place. And if you don't believe you need a separate spot, then get your head, you know, give your head a shake because you need one. All right. So I met with her in a separate spot and then I would do this. Ready? I would go, okay, is this you on Facebook? And she'd go, yeah. And I go, I'm sending you a friend request. If you don't like me, you can say no. She's not going to say no, right? She's going to, of course, say, oh, no, of course I like you. Because nobody's going to say, oh, I actually don't really like you. And then I made it my mission to get to know her, not to sell to her, to get to know her. I made sure that she got added to my friend group and to my customer group for sure. What is going on with my hair? You know, the problem with Facebook Lives is that they're backwards. So then you try and do your things like they're not like a mirror. So then you try to fix your hair like you're in a mirror, but you can't. It's really disconcerting. Okay, so I would tell her that I was going to make sure that she and I were friends. And that it is my job, and I love Beauty BFF, and I love what Mary Kay Canada is doing because that's what I did. It is my job to tell her that she looks like crap in coral lipstick. It is my job to tell her that she does not have time to contour. And she ain't gonna have time. So unless she really wants to make it a priority, she's just gonna have to let it go. And she can contour in her next life. It is my job to tell her that hooded eyes and winged eyeliner are not really compatible and that she might have to wait for her next life to do that. And it is my job to say to her that I'm gonna be here forever and that I'm gonna take care of her and her friends. And it is my job to make sure that she knows why she's purchasing from me and not from Sephora. Okay, that's my job. And so I want you to think about how would you build your customer base? That's how. And I really loved 100 faces, you guys. I love 30 faces a month, but 30 faces a month sometimes got a little daunting to me. Like if the month got away from me or if there was a blizzard or whatever, I don't know. I couldn't handle the 30 faces because like if somebody was sick or whatever, I would get really, really worried that I was going to fail. I really don't like to fail. Shocking, I know. So for me, it was really important that I build my base that way by building 100 people every quarter. I just did it a quarter, okay? And I still do that. I still do. I still focus on 100 faces a quarter because to me, that is something I can control. And I still do it by working full circle, by booking from bookings. That's it. Let's book your next one. I don't care if it's 6 months from now. Let's book it. Let's book it. All right. So if you're struggling with booking your follow-up appointments, which a lot of you are, I think one of the reasons why we struggle with any of these things is because we don't know why either. And how do you sell somebody when you don't know why? And if you feel like all you're doing is selling them on that because you need to get something out of it, then you need to fix that for yourself. You need to create something in your head where you're like, oh, I'm not just doing this to get something, because that's not your job. Your job isn't to sell. Your job is to allow her to buy. And it's important that you give her that opportunity. And she doesn't get that otherwise. You know, a confused mind buys nothing. So if you're trying to do everything in your appointment all at the same time, you're going to have a hard time. It's not going to be fun for you. My dog wants out. Leo, hi. You want to come up? Come see everybody. Come here. She's like, I rang the bell and everything and no one's letting me out. Oh, Swayze's here too. See, he wants to say hi. Look, there's Swayze. You know, do people know your life? And do they know why you want the things you want? You know, my customers knew that I wanted to be debt-free. They knew that I wanted to change my car. They knew that I was driving a Pontiac Sunbird with the roof falling in, and I had a Franken van with like bolts on the side. That's why we call it the Franken van, because it had the bolts holding on the fenders, just like the bolts in the neck, okay? So, you know, we did all of that. Sorry. Give me a second. Scott! Can you let the dogs out, please? Enjoy that. That's my life. People want to be part of your life. And if they're part of your life, they feel like they can buy from you. And that's really all that it was. So it was really easy for them to ask people to come over for a party because they knew me. You know, and they won't book just because you're going to give them stuff. They'll book because they know that they're helping you. Okay, when I knew that I wanted to earn the first top director trip, my biggest reason for doing that was because I knew that there was an excursion to Abbey Road Studios, and I wanted my husband to get to go to sing where the Beatles sang and to play on John Lennon's piano. That was my thing. And I told everybody that. Everyone. Do you have pictures of your children in your flip chart? Do you have pictures of your goals in your flip chart? Do you understand why we tell the I story? Do you even get it? We're going to tell the I story just to recruit. That was huge for me. That was a huge, like, whoa concept for me, because I thought the whole reason we sold the I story was so that I could get more consultants on my team. And so it was my job just to tell them how awesome my life was and that they should join me, right? That's what I thought. But here's the deal. The deal is that my customers and my consultants have come from my really great customers who understand my mission and have no desire to be a Mary Kay Beauty consultant. Okay, because they know why I want to do it. And they know they want to support me doing that. Think about all the times that you've recommended somebody. Think about all the times that you've said, oh, you know what? You should go talk to so-and-so. She's earning this. Or, you know, these guys are like a new family, or they have little kids just like mine. You know, like, why do we do that? Why do we like to shop local? Why do we figure those things out? Why do we prefer a small business versus a huge corporation? Right? Why do you like to shop somewhere like at Costco, for example? Because you know they'll take care of you. Correct? It's predictable. I'm predictable. I really am in my customers. They know that they can expect that I'm going to do a quarterly reorder sale because I'm lazy. And I don't like a bunch of like, can I get a CC cream? Texts and stuff. And I don't like to deliver all the time. So they know that they can expect that. They understand that they can expect that I'm going to be a straight shooter. And that I'm going to tell them that they can't, no, Cindy, you can't buy another Korra lipstick. You don't like them. You've returned every Korra lipstick you've ever bought from me, so no. Sorry, no. They know that. They know I'll never recommend a product I don't love. They understand that if I am reaching out to any of their friends from a referral, that I'm going to do that super organically. And I'm not going to stalk them. And they understand that. They're really clear about that. And they really know that if they bring people to the table, that they're going to have a good time. People don't go to parties so they can be lectured. They don't go to parties so they can go to school. So that you can stand there and be like, so This is the time with Miracle Fit. Have you ever been to a party like that? Could you imagine? Like, have you ever been to one? Imagine going to a candle party or like a Scentsy party or something, and instead of just letting you smell the darn things, she goes into all the chemical properties of the Scentsy bar. And then shushes you when you start talking. Are you booking yours? Nope. So my customers know that they're going to have a really good time and that we're going to have fun, and it's going to be short and sweet and fast. Because here's the other thing, you guys. Do you know the sales rule? It's 9 things plus or minus, or sorry, it's 7 things plus or minus 1. So you're either showing 6 or 8 or 7 products. That's it. If you're showing more than that, you have a confused mind. A confused mind buys nothing. And you have no reason for the follow-up. So if you're like me, and in the beginning, I like, oh my gosh, like I said, I moved in and I gave everybody like full makeup and full everything. And they bought nothing. Or they bought the one mascara. Anybody do this? Yeah? Okay. Because I loved makeup and I was really excited to show them all the makeup and like, oh my God, like show you this. Oh, look at this. And this and this and this and this. And they're like, there's no way I can do that. That was a lot. Of course, they forget that they can't lock me in their bathroom and I'm not going to be talking to them the whole time. But regardless, they don't want that. They want it to be fast and furious. They want to get it in and get out, correct? And they want to feel like what they're doing is working with me to get their perfect, for them, what they need, right? My customers are not at Sephora talking about the latest Tarte highlighter or Shape Tape or whatever. Are yours? Probably not. Our customers are found they're not found in the Instagram like tutorial videos. They're not found there, okay? Our customers are actually found going, oh God, I don't know anything about makeup. So why do I do what I do, right? Why do I do? And so what the thing is like, do you know what your brand is? Do you know why you sell to people? Do they know why you do it? Do they know your mission? Do they know who you are? You know, I could probably ask every single one of my customers what my team name is, and they could tell me. Could they do that for you? Sales directors? I could ask any single one of my customers what my children's names are, and they would tell me. Do yours? And in fact, I know all of my friends and customers' children's names and husbands' names. Do you? Do you? Because if you don't, how on earth can you tell her that she needs a contour kit when she's got twins and kids and there's stuff everywhere and she can't even control her life? She can't even clean her kitchen. They know me. And they know why I do what I do. They know that my mission is to prove to women that they deserve at least 10 minutes a day to take care of themselves. They know that my mission statement is that women deserve to pee alone. I say it at every party. Women deserve to pee alone. I don't know why we decided when we signed over our wombs that all of a sudden that meant that we didn't even get the bathroom to ourselves. Right? How did that mean that? And so now my job and my entire customer base was built on, I will teach you how to put eyeliner on because I know you forgot. I know you forgot you're not like allowed to just let yourself go and just feel crappy about yourself. It's my job to make you feel good. And it's my job to make you fall in love with yourself in the mirror again. Even if it just means that you're just washing your face for 10 minutes a day. At least you're doing something that's self-care and that is taking care of who you are. And it allows you that opportunity to feel good. And I tell everyone that. And I say, like, you know, it's not about makeup. It's not about skincare. It's not about any of that. It's about finding ourselves. And that I truly, truly believe with every ounce of my being that we can change the world one lipstick at a time. And do you? And do your customers know that you do? I really, truly believe that when you make a woman feel good and she looks in the mirror and she feels really, really good, okay? And then she goes home, she's going to treat her children better. And then they're going to go to school the next day and they're going to treat their friends better. And then their friends are going to go home and they're going to treat their parents better. And then their dad is going to go to work and he's going to treat his coworkers better. And then he's going to go home and treat his wife better. This whole world can be changed by women who actually freaking love themselves. And they love themselves enough to be alone, to have 10 minutes to themselves. So that's my mission statement. It doesn't have to be yours. Whatever your mission statement has to be, create it, brand it. What's your manifesto? What's your life? What's your brand? That's why they buy from me. And that's why they continue to buy from me. And that's why they recommend me. And so because I don't want to do a trade show and I don't want to do facial boxes and I don't want to do any of those things, I meet most of my customers just because somebody will send me a Facebook message and be like, hey, this is my friend Cindy and Cindy needs you. Cindy was my imaginary friend growing up, by the way. So I always name my imaginary customers Cindy. I don't have 27 customers named Cindy. Okay? You know, creative people always have imaginary friends growing up. So what's your brand? What's your mission statement? And are you working full circle? Are you smarter than Mary Kay Ash? I doubt it. And one of the things that I had to do in the beginning, especially when I was building my business, was to write Be Too Dumb to Doubt on everything, because I needed to not doubt the system. I needed to know that I shouldn't give up after my first 20 faces and be like, uh-oh, that's it, I'm out. I felt that if I saw 100 faces, I would have data. And I'm a data kind of person. I like data for fun. I would never do it as a career or anything, but I do like spreadsheets and things like that. And I like data. And you know, one thing I did actually, and I recommend doing this, SurveyMonkey is free. And I sent a SurveyMonkey to each of my first 100 customers. And I don't have it anymore, so please don't email me or phone me or call me or text me or whatever asking me for it. I don't have it. Fix it. Figure it out for yourself. That's the other thing. Copying and pasting is not your brand. Sorry. Be you. All right. So I just created a SurveyMonkey and I asked them questions like, you know, what did they like? What did they didn't like? What, you know, I asked them about my hygiene. I asked them about my makeup. I asked them about my breath. I asked them about everything. Like, tell me. It's anonymous. Just tell me. And you know what? It was amazing because the number one criticism that they gave me, do you want to know what it was? You'll be shocked. Because when I saw my first 100 faces and realized, because I had been giving away $20 a face as a gift certificate for my facial jars and stuff, was that I was losing money. And I was like, dude, this sucks. I'm losing money. Not losing, but you know, like my profit was not the same as it would have been at 50%. And I was like, oh, I don't know. Isn't that great? The number one thing that my customer said is, I wanted to buy more and she didn't let me. Oops. Because I shopped with my wallet and not theirs. And I didn't listen to them. I didn't. I did. I followed the chart and I did what I was supposed to do. And I didn't create and I didn't actually just sit and authentically look at her and let her talk and let her choose and let her just shop. Because guess what? We like to shop. And women will not spend more than they have. They just won't. If they do, they will figure it out. And they'll justify it because they'll be like, well, it was on sale, or well, it was the only time. And you know how they justify it best? Well, I was helping her earn a trip. I was helping her fix her Cadillac. I was helping her kids get homeschooled. That's how they justify it too. When I earned my first Cadillac, my favorite was the people who randomly showed up at my house to take pictures and selfies with pieces of my car. With just the rearview mirror, with just the hubcap. And then they would say things like, I bought this. I bought this piece of her Cadillac. They are invested in me and they're invested in what I want to do. And it's not because I am amazing at customer service, because I'm really not. And it's not because I have a ton of inventory. And it's not because I had a huge customer base to start with. It's simply because I do tell people why I'm doing it. And I do follow that I'm going to be innovative. I'm going to be creative. And I'm going to really, truly be myself. Bottom line. I'm going to truly be myself. And if they don't like me, that's okay, because there's a lot of other customers out there and I can recommend them. So if they say things like, well, I'm not actually on Facebook, you're going to have to call me for a reorder. You know what? Actually, I have a really great person on my team that loves to call for reorders. She's going to be taking care of you. That's okay. Because I don't call for reorders. Sorry. I sell a lot. Typically, my typical month is that I sell about $1,200 wholesale every single month. That's non-negotiable for me. And that's normal. That's not rolling anything in. Usually though, it's well over 2,000 wholesale. Now, I never had money to roll product in. I couldn't ever afford it. In fact, when I first started, and up until 3 years ago that we got Interact, I didn't have a credit card for my orders. So my poor husband had to go down to Money Mart and load up a titanium Visa every month end so that I could do my order with it. I didn't have any extra. And so I didn't give them lavish gifts, and I didn't give extra stuff away. I couldn't afford to. So what I really chose to do to build my base and to build who I was to just really build authentic relationships. So if you're struggling to build your base, the first thing I want to ask you is, what circles are you in? You know, how about you went out and had some fun? What if you thought, what's something I've always wanted to learn to do? Because here's the thing, if you want to attract customers that are like-minded, then you got to go find them in like-minded places, right? So if you've always wanted to learn to tango, go freaking tango. And chances are you're going to meet people that are going to be your customers and your new consultants and your new directors and maybe your new national sales director. Who knows? Go tango. Go meet people authentically. Get in their headspace. Get them on the social media so that you can actually know them. Spend time getting to know them on social media and let them get to know you. Be authentic. Be creative. Really, really, really get into their heads and their hearts and their spaces and let them know why you're doing what you're doing. They need to know why you're doing what you're doing. And so if you really are that's something I did. If somebody invited me to any party, anything, I went. If I was free, I went. And I friended everybody who was there. And it's nerve-wracking, and I did it. And I just said, is this you? If you don't like me, just say no to my friend request. Nobody's saying no. And then I didn't reach out to them and go hey girl, just wondering if you wanted to purchase some products from me. Please don't do that. I didn't send them a message about Mary Kay. I just liked their stuff and I commented about how pretty their kids were and I sent them cards. I was like, hey, what's your address? Can I send you a card? I love sending cards. So I did that a lot. I always send a thank you card to every single person who orders from me. I send a thank you card to every single person who hosts for me. Any referrals, anything, it's just a card. I don't send a gift. I don't send anything. It's just a card. I just like to be grateful. And I think that's the other thing too. When I was making my notes for today, I thought, what's something that is important to me? And that's gratitude. That's huge. And so I know that my customers know how grateful I am for everything they've ever done for me. And because they know how important their orders are, they're coming to me. And because I take care of them and I love them and they know I love them, they're going to keep coming to me and they're going to keep sending me people. And they're going to be totally okay with having a few people over at the kitchen table. We don't even call them parties. I'm just like, hey, I'm coming over Friday night. Who's coming? That's it. Okay, so I don't know. Yeah, I do. I send out cards. I use send out cards. So Georgie is going to hook you up. Georgie Hagen's on here. If you want send out cards, contact her. It's awesome. It's seriously changed my life. I love it so much. So I just use an app. It's like a service. And see, Georgie can hook you up. So she is in the comments and she can help you out. I just really love it. And I love being able to just send a little thank you card saying your business matters to me. If you know that your business matters to somebody, you're more likely to shop there, correct? Yes? And so that is what I'm asking you to do, is really just get clear on who you are. What's your brand? What is your mission statement? What's your team's mission statement? And why is it that you're doing it? So watch the TED Talk. It's called, oh shoot, you know what, I'll put it in the comments. How's that? It's by Simon Sinek, and it's something like Inspired Leaders, Inspire Action, or something like that. But it talks about, you know, that there were other people, for example, doing New Flight. They were doing airplanes. And why do we remember the Orville brothers? Because they had a mission, and because they let everybody know what their mission was, and because we really liked them. They weren't the best, but they still did it, right? So, you know, we remember those things. Why do people line up for iPhones when they can get it in the store without lining up 2 weeks later? People don't buy what you do. They don't buy how you do it. They buy why you do it. So think about that. We're not selling makeup and skincare. And it's not because ours is the best. I love it, for sure. But there's a lot of comparable products out there that are honestly just as good at Sephora and the Bay and everything else. They're probably pricier, but they're just as good. So why do they shop with me? Because when they go to the Bay, they're going to get Tatiana one day, and they're going to get Angie the next day, and they're going to get Lisa the next day, and they don't have somebody consistent that they're going to shop with who remembers their shaded foundation and everything else. Do you tell them that all the time? Do you? When they start shopping with you, do you tell them that? Janet, it's called send out cards. And Georgie Hagen's here on the comments, and she can hook you up. It's fabulous. The other thing too, by the way, do you recommend other businesses and other people? Because guess what happens the more you do that? The more they recommend you. And the last thing I'm going to leave you with, because I'm not sure how long I'm supposed to be on, so I'm just here hanging out with you. The last thing I'm going to leave you with is that dudes have built my business. Dudes, not women. A lot of men. Men are great at telling people, oh yeah, don't forget Cindy. Cindy says, yeah, I know. When I first met you, Cindy, didn't I say, hey, that was the name of my imaginary friend? I get to know a lot of guys in business, a lot of male entrepreneurs. And when they know what my mission statement is, they tell everybody what I'm doing. And then they send so many women to me. Don't forget, dudes. They don't buy much. I mean, I actually do a lot of man cave parties. They're quite funny in the man cave. But men are simple, so it's really easy. And I pre-sell. So I don't know, if you want me to do another Facebook Live about that, that's fun. But honestly, it's really just as simple as like, oh, well, you're running this business in investments, you know, and I get to know them, and I go to those things. I go to the networking nights. I go to all of those things. Anything I can, I go to in my community, because my community is really important to me too. Okotoks is very important to me. I love it here, and I make sure to be part of this community. And then the more that I'm part of this community, then guess what? The more that they recommend me in this community. It's not the only place I work, for sure, but I definitely work here a lot, and I really do like to build my base this way. And so when you're really just when you're just really on a mission, all I wanted to do was collect data for 100 faces, and then do another 100 and see what happened. So here's my quick data. 100 faces. The first 100 got me a lot of experience and taught me what not to do. But luckily, I rebooked them all. And so the next 100 went faster. The first 100, I think, took me like 4 months. It didn't, or maybe even 5. Like it was from seminar to like just before Christmas. It was not great. And then I wanted to go to Houston as a future director. And I remember at Fall Advance in the beginning of October, my national was like, oh, you should go. And I was like, yeah, you're on the special kind of pharmaceuticals, because there's no way. I only have one person on my team. And so I decided that I was going to see another 100 faces and see what happened, and actually asked them if they wanted to join my team. Ooh, what? New concept. Anyway, and actually interviewed them. And then I had my 8 at the end of November, and I got to go to Houston, so that my 100 faces sort of took me to that 8. My next 100 took me to Houston and into DIQ. I started DIQ February 1st. So between the, and I think it was the beginning of December to the end of February, I saw 100 faces. And then my next 100 faces, finish DIQ and finish my first call. That was it. It's a pretty easy formula, correct? That was the only thing I knew how to control, is I could see a lot of faces. And I did not see them all individually, good gravy. But I did in the beginning, and that sucked. Don't do that, okay? It's way more fun to shop with friends, and I just would say to people, like, now I just say, like, I'm a stranger. Stranger danger. I'm sure you want your bestie there. That's it. I'm sure you want your bestie there. I'm sure she'll want her bestie there if you're not her bestie. Maybe your mom. Who's coming? That's it. Who's coming? Not, I'll give you this and this. I didn't really do that. Okay, so really my business is built that way, and like that's it. Okay. So any questions, guys, before I let you go? I've got the comments right here. George has got a link to send out cards. Any questions, comments, concerns? Somebody asked me how many customers, strong customers I have. I would say like 350 right now, realizing that I do recruit a lot of my customers, and then they take their people with them. So that's cool too. Like that's the other reason that I have abundance, is so that I don't feel like I can't give people my customers. Okay? Hopefully that was great for you. It will be available on replay, so if you missed it or you're just tuning in now, go ahead and watch it later, and I will let you guys go. If you have a meeting to go to tonight, go to your meeting, have fun, and yeah. Yes, you can watch the whole video again. It will show up, okay? All right. Bye, everybody.